So talking about inflation, because everything that is going on right now has to be viewed with the backdrop of we have terrible inflation. This is the worst inflation we've seen since 1984. Economists, Wall Street, banks, everyone is acting a little bit like the sky is falling in, which I can't entirely blame them because it does seem that it is about to fall in on us. But then Biden, you mentioned that he made these comments. He tweeted about inflation going down, and that it's all on him. He's made inflation go down. Whoopee! I'm the magician. But why would he make this claim? Because inflation has not yet gone down. Maybe he's seen trends of it going down, but we don't have the official report until the beginning of June on how inflation was in May. And there are not many policies that he's been directly involved with that have anything to do with inflation in the economy. So what is he doing?
He's celebrating us going from Venezuela to Cuba. That's progress for him.
That's a good
It's
analogy.
a step in the right direction. I mean, it's maybe if you're familiar with Dante's Inferno, it's going from the 9th circle of hell to the 8th circle of hell.
Yeah.
But really, the person who deserves credit for any of this, for all of this, inflation, the deficit, the person who deserves credit is actually Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin has been the one, the father of what Biden has actually accomplished in office.
Right.
So really what Biden should have done is congratulated Joe Manchin and appointed him as vice president.
Shake it up. Manchin's the true hero, and we all know it. But I would say Manchin, it's not just what Manchin has done, but it's what he has stopped from being done. It's very clear, if you're at all confused, a large part of the inflation crisis that we're going through right now is directly caused by the stimulus packages that kept being passed again and again throughout COVID. So actually, we have both administrations to blame for that. Trump and Biden take the blame for that. Because essentially what went on is the government decided to go ahead and take the idea of universal income for a spin and pass the massive stimulus packages. Each one of you got checks from the government to help during the COVID pandemic. Which, at the moment people may have enjoyed, but here we are 2 years later.
I really enjoyed mine.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I got the best electric guitar I've ever had with my first stimulus check.
Well
and I will never forget that check for that purpose.
Well spent.
Yeah, it was well spent. We're paying for it now, but
yeah. The problem is you're paying for it now. Everyone knows, even the Fed finally admitted a few weeks ago, okay, the stimulus packages did spike inflation. That is why we are where we are today. And, we're seeing inflation across the entire economy. Everyone, of course, is wailing over the gas prices, most particularly because it's outrageous to be paying $5 and $6 a gallon for gas. And yet Biden is still living in some sort of fantasy world that he's like, I'm bringing down inflation. Inflation's fine. But let's pay for student debt, which is sort of like another version of a stimulus package.
Yeah.
And do you see any reasoning, like sound logic behind his claims or anything that he's doing?
Really, I mean, so as I said, he should be thanking Joe Manchin, but he's also taking credit. Trump set the 2021 deficit before he left office.
Right.
So he's taking credit for Trump's budget that was enacted against his will by Joe Manchin. So for him to take credit for the deficit is extraordinarily rich. That would be like if, you destroy your house and then you talk about how good of a demolition expert you are. So it's classic political spin from the Biden administration.